First thing I want to let you know is quiz 2 is on Canvas and it's due this Tuesday, the 14th. Homework 2 is due on xyzhomework.com, and we're going to look at both of those websites together. By the way, if you still need to take quiz 1, it was an assessment quiz. It was posted last week, but I still have a few people who've taken the quiz, and I will write comments. Okay, and that homework's due the same day, the 14th. And I will show you that. So there is a place for your grade for homework 2 on Canvas, but you cannot access homework 2 from Canvas. You have to go to that website and find our class, which will share the class code. It's in the syllabus towards the bottom where it says course ID 30115. Anything else? Oh, I want to let you know about my office hour. I'd like to switch from Monday, Wednesday to being Wednesday, Friday at the same time, same place. Okay, I think those are all the class notes as far as what you need to do. One more note is I have our meetings. A few of them didn't have audio, but I will reload them to YouTube and then post them to Canvas. Yeah. Okay. First thing we're looking at is Canvas. The homepage is our modules. Each week we'll have 2 meetings and sometimes a quiz or exam. In the assignments, you can also locate your quizzes and exams, and these are just placeholders for your grades from XYZ, the homework assignments. And I'll update your grades soon after we've done a few homeworks. The syllabus I'll change to have the new office hour, but here's where you can find instructions for the class. And also in quizzes, you can look at a quiz or a test. So this quiz is 5 questions. I couldn't find a save for later option, but you can retake the test or quiz as many times as you like. And it just has this due date of Tuesday. Okay. I also want to show you our homework website. This is the homepage. It's xyzhomework.com. If this is your first time seeing the page, you would need to register as a new student and use our course ID to find our class. Okay, our class has a homework schedule in the calendar, and you need to click on the homework icon to get to those questions. So to get to homework 2, click on that green square, then on this link. There are 28 questions, and you need to do all of those questions for full credit. If you need some more time on your homework, or if you have a question, you can write a message to me, and I will get to those soon, probably today. And let's see, your book is here. The ebook is under the calendar. We're working on chapters 1 and 2. Last week we did a review chapter. So we're doing mostly chapter 2, solving equations. And sometimes when you click on a new chapter, the book asks you to log in again. So you put in your username and password, and then you can go to that section. So, questions? Okay, cool. Someone's asking if they can start homework 3. I would have to change the due date, but yeah, sure. If you want to, just write a message to me. I'll go find that and give you early access. And I can make a note to myself too. I'll remember to do that. Okay. I think we're ready to do notes. So the last thing we were talking about is how to clear fractions from an equation. Multiply both sides of the equation by the LCD. Our equation is going to be x over 10 minus 2 is equal to 2/5 x. Plus 3 over 7. So it's like a least common denominator from every single denominator, which we're going to factor this denominator. And we don't need to put a denominator here, but if you would like to see what this denominator is, 2 over 1 is still 2. Then there's that 5 and that 7. So one of the factors is 2. There's a single factor of 5 in either of the denominators. And then there's that 7 over there. And 1 times that number is still the same number. So we're going to go with 7. So this side, 70 times x over 10 to 2/5 x, add 3 over 7. We'll distribute 70 to both of those two terms, and same on that side over there. 70 over 10 is 7x. And then subtract 140. And that's equal to C. 70 divided by 5 is going to leave 2 times 7. So 14, and then that's multiplied with the 2, 28. And then 70 is multiplied by 3 over 7. The 7 and the 7 cancel, and there's 2 times 5 times 3, which is 30. Okay, so we're going to get the x values. We want one single value of x on one side of the equation.
Oh, she's back.
I think you're muted, Professor.
Let's do this. Thanks for waiting. Okay, Oh, we're still recording. I think everything's back. And
Yeah, it says recording.
okay, thank you. All right, sorry about that. We were here with subtracting 7x from each side of your equation. All right, 0x minus 140 equal to 21x, and then add 30. We're trying to solve for x, so let's subtract 30 from each side. So this is 0 plus 21x. And then negative 140 minus 30 is even further towards that negative value of 170. I've got negative 170 equal to 21x, so we'll divide both sides by 21, and that's going to isolate x. It's negative, let's see, negative 170 over 21. We'll check if it's fully reduced, but right now I know that's going to be my x value. And let's do some scratch work over here. Okay, so I know that 170 is 17 times 10. So negative 17 times 10. 21 is 3 times 7. Negative 17 times 2 times 5. 3 times 7. Okay. Since there are no common factors, that is a fully simplified fraction. One more with fractions, and then I want to talk about how to clear decimals. It's x over 2 plus 1 over 4. Equal to x over 3 plus 1 over 6. Okay, the LCD from all of the denominators. So it's factor 6. So there's a factor of 2, and the most you have is right here with 2 2's. And for the factor 3, there's 1 3 in this denominator. There's 1 3 in that denominator. So we'll multiply both sides by 12. And that 12, we're going to distribute to both terms on both sides. Twelve divided by 2 is 6 times x. 12 divided by 4 will be 3. And on the other side, 12 over 3 is 4x. And then 12 over 6. So you want to get the x variable on one side and everything else on the other side. Let's subtract 4x to get started. This would be 2x plus 3. And 0x plus 2. We're trying to isolate x. So let's subtract 3 on both sides. And to get x by itself, divide each side by 2. X equal to -1/2. And we should check our answer. It is, let me see, it is -1/2. I did check it on the side, but if you have time, you want to check your solutions. Right, so to clear decimals. Multiply both sides of the equation by a power of 10. So the power of 10 depends on how many decimal places you have. If it's 1 decimal place in each of your numbers, then just use 10. If it's 2 decimal places, use 10 squared. 3 decimal places, use 10 cubed. Let's get started. All right, the equation is 0.5 plus 0.2x. Equal to 1.4 minus 0.7x. So for each value, I have just one decimal place to take care of. So we're going to use 10 to the first. And distribute 10. And when you multiply when you multiply by that 10 to the first, it moves the decimal place one space to the right. So we've got 0.5 plus 5 plus 2x. All right, here we're going to go with 14 minus 7x. And I'm trying to get the x values to one side of the equation, everything else on the other side. Add 7x to each side, 5 plus 9x, and it's equal to 14. So we're trying to isolate x. We can subtract 5 from both sides. And divide both sides by 9. X is equal to okay. I am going to check my answer with some scratch work. So in the beginning of the problem, it was 0.5 plus 0.2. And we're putting in x equal to 1. Then the other side was 1.4 minus 0.7. And we're putting in 1 for x. When I do this check, I don't want to add or subtract from both sides. I just want to work on the left side and then work on the right side and see how things go. Okay, this side, 1.4 and subtract 0.7. This side is 0.7. This side will be 0.7, but let's do extra scratch work just to make sure. 1.4 minus 0.7. Take away here, that there, 7 left over. Take the decimal straight down, and that's a 0. So x equals 1. So we're going to keep working with decimals and the same variable x. Take 0.03x. Subtract 0.12. It's equal to 1 plus, let's see, actually, we're going to do 0.01. 0.01 plus 0.05x. This time I have 2 decimal places to take care of. So we'll multiply both sides by 10 squared. Just 100. This should all be written straight in a straight line, but the idea is to multiply 100 with both terms and do the same thing on this side. And 100 times 0.03, that will move that decimal place to the right 2 times. Same to 0.12. Hundred times 0.01, it moves the decimal place over 2 times to the right. And 2 times to the right. Now we've taken care of all decimals, and we want to have x on one side, everything else on the other side. Zero x minus 12 equal to 1. And 5x minus 3x is 2x. Trying to isolate x and subtract 1 from both sides. So negative 13 equal to 2x. I'm going to divide each side by 2. Negative 13 halves is equal to x. And we should check, but we're going to move on. All right, I'm going to make up an example where still solving for x. And please check out for any mistakes or stop me if you have any questions. Okay, I want to do something like -1/2. Let's go with 14x plus n will be equal to 0. So we're going to take -1/2 and distribute it to both terms inside of the parentheses. -1/2 times 14x. I'm going to put 14/1 just so that we know we're going to divide 14 by 2. It's just easier to read. -1/2. Multiply with 12. And this is part of the expression we had, so I don't need to do anything to both sides. This -1/2 was sitting here. I just want to distribute it. This side still has 0. That's part of your problem. Okay, so don't forget your negative sign. 14 divided by 2, 7. And there's your variable x. This is negative. And then 12, which if you want to put it over 1, it helps to see that it's 12 divided by 2, which is 6. And then copy the rest. Okay, we're trying to solve for x, so get x by itself on one side of your equation. -7x equal to 6. Divide each side by -7. So this is negative, and a negative is a positive. 7/7 is 1. 1 times x is x. It's -6/7. So this time we're solving for w. With 2 plus w is equal to 4w minus 3 times 1/5. So if you wanted to, you could distribute the 1/5, but I'm just going to get rid of this right away. So by multiplying each side by 5, I can clear that fraction. And again, if I do something to this side, I have to do the same thing on the other side. All right, I did that so that those 5 over 5 reduces to 1. And on this side, 4w minus 3 is sitting there. On the other side, I will distribute 5 to both terms. 10 plus 5. So you want to get your W's on one side of the equation. Zero W minus 3. And then 10, 5W minus 4W is 1W. If we subtract 10 from both sides, we'll isolate W. It's -3 minus 10 would be negative with a negative is more negative over to -13. Oof. All right, so another one, and then we're gonna change it up just a little bit. Yeah, we'll do this. Solve for t. And there's 2 times t minus 1. Subtract 5 minus t is equal to 7 plus t. We're going to distribute 2, and we're also going to distribute that negative. It's a -1, but really just take that negative over here, multiply it over there, and it's 2t minus 2 minus 5 plus t equal to 7 plus t. So now we're going to combine like terms, which I have 2t plus t is going to be 3t. And we'll put this together too. -2 minus 5 is -7 equal to 7 plus t. And just as a side note, I saw this happen a few times last semester in another class. Still do scratch work when you're, even if you see this matching number, don't assume they just cancel. Keep working through your problem. We're going to, let's go ahead and add 7 to both sides. 3t is equal to 14 plus t. Okay, now let's get the t values to one side of the equation by subtracting t. Two t equal to 14, and then divide both sides by 2. Yeah, we're just solving for t. All right, and almost done actually. Got t equal to Okay, so just in case you missed the beginning of the question, I'm just going to rewrite what the equation was, and just note that we should check our answer, but I want to move on to the next topic. But your last example was 2 times t minus 1 minus 5 minus t. It is equal to 7 plus t. 7. So we're still going to solve equations, but this time we're adding extra variables and solving for one of the variables. Okay, so the first thing you do is similar to what we've been doing, is to distribute if you need to, and then combine like terms. And use addition or subtraction to get the variable that you are solving for on one side of your equation. And after that, you would either multiply or divide to isolate that variable. We're going to solve for x. And in our equation, it's a over x. We're adding b over x. It's equal to 2. So there's nothing to distribute, but I can combine the like terms. It's a over x plus b over x is a plus b over x. when we're solving for a variable, it needs to come out of the denominator. So to get x out of that denominator, we'll multiply both sides by x. Okay, but we don't have any fractions anymore. This x over x is 1. 1 times a plus b is a plus b. And this side is 2x. And to solve for x, you're trying to get x by itself. So divide both sides by 2. Right, if a plus b, or I have a plus b over 2 is equal to x, and the goal was to solve for x. Let's make sure, don't lose track of time. Okay, I think we have enough time to do a few more examples for this topic. So we're going to solve for x. We have 2x minus y plus 3x. It's equal to 7x plus y. So don't need to use distribution, but I can combine these like terms as my first step. 2x plus 3x is 5x, and then subtract that y on the other side, we're just going to copy. You want the x values on one side of the equation. I would subtract 5x. So 0x minus y equal to 2x plus y. And again, I suggest that you do the scratch work and don't just cancel those y values. Some people do that sometimes, but mistakes happen that way. So subtract y and subtract y, see what happens. It should be negative 2y. And then on the other side, just 2x. And we're trying to solve for x. So divide each side by 2. So that 2 over 2 reduces to 1. 1 times x is x. We were trying to solve for, on the other side, it's negative 1 times y, which is negative y. Doing an example where we're still going to solve for x. And this equation is something you'll see a lot if you're going to take stats in the future. So in the stats class, your teacher will show you how to standardize a variable, and it often will look like this. You have z, and it's equal to x minus some number, which I'm going to pick 2. And you divide by another number, which in this case is 5. So we're trying to isolate x and get everything else on the other side using order of operations and all of our rules. And let's start with getting rid of the fraction. And multiply both sides by 5. Here's 5z. On this side, if it helps, you can put 5 over 1. And that we can see that that 5 is over that 5, and that reduces to 1. And what's left is 1 times x minus 2, which is x minus 2. So we're trying to solve for x, and we can do that by adding 2 to both sides of the equation. So x is equal to 5z plus 2. One more, and then I want to talk about percentages. We will solve for b. We're going to use 5 times a plus 2b equal to c. So first, we want to get b out of the parentheses by using distribution, and then we're going to continue to isolate b to one side of the equation. Okay, let's distribute 5. 5a, add 10b, and it's equal to c. And we're trying to get b by itself. So we will subtract 5a. And you have 10b equal to c subtracted 5. And last step is to divide both sides by 10. Let's see what happens. What happened is I was, so I have a question about multiplying by 5 on both sides. And maybe I'll make an example where we would do that. But this 5 was given to me in the problem. So I kind of had this as part of what I need to work with and just started to distribute it. And I'll show you a different example where you do multiply both sides by 5. for this one, let's just finish here with dividing by 10, divide by 10. Make it B equal to C minus 5A over 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do is rewrite the problem that we just did and then compare it to another problem. It was 5 times A plus 2B equals C. Okay, so if you're onto a new problem, and what it looks like is we're going to use A plus 2B equals C over 5. Okay. So this is what you're given. And this is where you kind of think, I don't like working with fractions. I want to clear the fractions, and I'm going to use that trick. I can get rid of fractions by multiplying both sides by the LCD. So this is when I want to take this side and use the rule where I can multiply both sides by the same number. And that keeps that side equal to that side. And that trick helps get rid of the 5s. And then you have C on this side. 5 is going to be C. This side will distribute 5 here and here. Okay, cool. I'm glad, I hope that helps, but of course, a lot of practice is what really helps. So just please, work on your homework or visit me in office hour. And I do want to finish this one since we've already gotten started. We're going to solve for B, just like the last problem. Okay, so subtract that 5A on each side. And 10B equals C minus 5A, capital A. That is an issue sometimes on your homework. If your variable is capital, you need the variable in your answer to also be a capital, or else it won't record as correct. Okay, divide both sides by 10. And you're going to have C minus 5A over 10. One last thing to go over today, and that's percentages. We, I think, talked about this already, but I want to do examples for the homework. Okay, so a percent is a proportion out of 100. We're going to do 73%, be 73 over. And actually what we're doing is practicing how to translate English to math, which is what we're going to talk about when we meet on Tuesday. So we're going to keep on working on translating from English over to math. Okay, before we do the examples, I just want to put that the words we're going to see today are of and is. Of means multiply. Is means equals. First one is, what is 30% of 84? So it's 30% times 84, and we're going to see what that number is. %30 is 30 out of 100. And then I multiplied it with 84. And you can use a calculator or you can do some scratch work. The goal right now is to translate from here to here and then simplify your answer. I got 25.2. Next one, what is 19% of 28? So 19% times 28. And then just see whatever that number is. 19% is 19 out of 100. And then multiply with 28. And I got 5.32. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to do one last question for today, and that way we can come back and do more practice Tuesday with something like this. Asking what percent of 46 is 23. Okay, so this is what we don't know. Our unknown is, let's try to finish this. going to be represented by X. Okay, I'm going to solve what percent of, so multiplied by this X value multiplied with 46 equal to 23. X times 6. And then when we find X, we want to make sure we write it as a percent. Of is that multiplication with that number 46 equal to 23. Divide each side by 46. I got 0.5. I could do 0.5. Let's just actually come back here and multiply by 100 over 100. So that moves the decimal place over 2 times. 50 out of 100 is 50%. And that's the end of class.